You ever have one of those mornings where deep in your bones, it's about to get ridiculous? I'm talking the kind of day where karma finally circles back around, grinning like a coyote with your neighbor's cat in its jaws. That was me, standing on my grandmother's porch at 6:30 a.m., minding my own business, fixing a busted shutter, when I hear the sharp click-clack of designer heels. And let me tell you, nothing good in Willowbrook Estates ever followed the sound of expensive shoes on concrete. I look up, and there she is, Brenda Thornfield, president of the HOA for as long as anyone can remember, out in full Karen mode. Yoga pants, sunglasses so big they could double as welding goggles, and her phone white-knuckled in her manicured hand, like it was a badge of divine authority. She's barking in a 911, yelling about an intruder at 1247 Maple Street. He's destroying property with a drill. Send help. And I can't help but laugh, because the only thing I'm armed with is a screwdriver and a stubborn shutter. Meanwhile, the air's thick with the scent of fresh coffee and that tingling sense that justice, real, honest-to-God, Old Testament justice, is about to fall like a hammer. And here's the punchline. A minute later, my own patrol car rolls up. Deputy Remy gets out, spots the badge on my belt, shakes his head with a smirk, and says, "Ma'am, you just called the sheriff on the sheriff." Game, set, match. But if you want to know how I got here, how a grown man ends up being the intruder in his own house, let's rewind. I'm Darren Wolf, 45, ex-military police, now a security contractor, and, most importantly, dad to my 12-year-old daughter, Skylar. 3 months back, I inherited my grandmother Ruth's place after she passed, a cozy house in Willowbrook Estates, the kind of perfect gated community where they'll fine you for breathing too loud or putting up the wrong color birdhouse. But for me, it was sacred ground. Ruth raised me there after my folks died. Every weekend since, Skylar and I worked in the rose garden, mixing the scent of pink blooms and WD-40, teaching her how to build birdhouses in the same workshop where Ruth's old Maxwell House mug still sits, 30 years stained and proud. Willowbrook has 847 homes, but not a single soul playing in their yards. Just the steady drone of landscaping crews and the silent eyes of neighbors behind their curtains, afraid to step out of line. Monthly HOA fees bleed you dry. $340 a month, and you're still not safe from their pettiness. Enter Brenda, realtor, self-appointed neighborhood czar, driving a white BMW with custom HOA plates, living in a marble palace with a husband, Bradley, who owns Thornfield Motors and enough city councilmen to build a golden driveway. She's been president 8 years because nobody dares run against her. My first week, I get a violation from my black metal mailbox. Ruth's mailbox, same as 50 others on the block. Suddenly, it's non-conforming. Fine, $150, ticking up $50 every day. Welcome to Willowbrook. So I paint the damn thing Forest Glen green, figuring the nightmare will end. Foolish optimism. Instead, Brenda kicks into overdrive, daily drive-bys, phone always at her ear, photographing my every move like some sort of suburban dictator. She lives for this, the power, the control. I quickly learned the truth. HOA boards attract two types, folks who want to help, and those who never got over losing prom queen. Brenda's clipboard is her Excalibur. Violation notices are royal decrees. Neighborhood feels dead. No kids laughing, no block parties, just the ever-present predatory rumble of Brenda's patrol car. People exist in quiet fear. Gladys Remy, sweet old teacher across the street, ducks indoors at the sight of Brenda. Marcus Rivera, ex-Marine 3 doors down, gives a silent nod, but never risks small talk. It's like living under a microscope, and the person holding the lens is gleeful about finding dirt. But if there's one thing the military taught me, it's patience. Observation. Documentation. While Brenda tries to break me, I start building a file, photos, dates, details of every double standard. Why does Bradley's landscaping truck get a free pass while my work vehicle gets cited? Why do Yard of the Month awards rotate between the same 3 families? Something stinks, and it's not just the fertilizer. And the money. Oh, there's always money. But Brenda's not content with small stuff. 2 weeks after my mailbox surrender, I get a cease and desist, rip out Ruth's old picket fence, built in '87, or face a $450 legal fee. Their evolving community standards apparently need a sacrifice. That night, surrounded by the comforting smell of sawdust and memories, I dig through Ruth's files, every permit, every letter since 1985. There it is, a grandfather clause in black and white protecting pre-1990 installations. And I've got the building permit to prove it. Better yet, I count 23 identical fences around Willowbrook. Some put in last year, not a peep from the board. Selective enforcement. That's what lawyers call it when you only enforce rules against some people. I put together a dossier, 30 pages, Pentagon-level detail, photos, maps, legal analysis, everything. The appeal hearing is set, conveniently, during Schuyler school play, but I show up in full dress uniform. Reminder that some folks don't bend to pressure. Brenda tries her politician smile, says the board has evolved beyond outdated grandfather clauses. I lay out the evidence. The room gets quiet, board members turning pages, realizing they're cornered. That's when Janet Morrison, retired paralegal, usually silent, speaks up. Selective enforcement could expose us to federal fair housing violations. The room shifts. Vote goes 4-1 in my favor. Brenda's alone, seething. But here's the twist. Losing just makes her more dangerous. She stalks outside, already plotting her next move, calling in every favor she can muster. And sure enough, 3 weeks later, she pushes through a new rule. No commercial vehicles overnight in driveways. No appeals, retroactive, targeted straight at my plain white security truck. First violation, $200, then $500, then a property lien. She even blocks Schuyler's playdates by commandeering guest parking. But sometimes the universe hands you a break. While I'm researching ordinances, I find Ohio law, Section 5312.02, bans HOAs from restricting commercial vehicles unless they're hazardous or oversized. So I file a complaint with the state. Meanwhile, Schuyler and I turn evening walks into photo ops, documenting 17 other commercial vehicles, including Brenda's friends, that don't get cited. Brenda gets desperate, calls city code enforcement about my electrician, fully permitted, mind you, claims unpermitted work. But now there's a paper trail. False reports, harassment. She's handing me evidence. State Housing Authority opens an investigation. Neighbors start whispering about her double standards. And then, the real bombshell. Gladys shows up one morning, hands trembling, carrying cookies and a fat envelope. 5 years' worth of board minutes. Her late husband, an attorney, always said bullies count on good people staying quiet. The documents reveal every contract, every dime. Landscaping, snow removal, parking lot repairs, all funneled to Bradley's businesses. No competitive bids, inflated invoices, work never performed. Over $900,000 bled from 847 families in 3 years. I cross-check public filings and find wild discrepancies. Ruth, God bless her, had started investigating years before she died. Brenda, sensing trouble, calls a special meeting and conveniently forgets to invite me. Marcus slips me a copy under the door. She's trying to railroad you. Agenda Item 3. Enhanced scrutiny protocols for disruptive residents. Translation: let's crush Darren Wolf. She starts spreading rumors, drinking violence, even my ex-wife fleeing in terror. Schuyler gets left out of neighborhood parties. The cruelest part? Seeing your daughter cry because grown-ups can't act decent. I show up at the meeting anyway, evidence in hand. The room's packed, air heavy with sweat and anger. I drop the truth. Let's talk about the real cancer. $890,000 in fraudulent contracts. Neighbors flip through my packets, faces cycling through confusion, rage, disbelief. Then Jim Kowalski, retired postal worker, stands up. I've seen Brenda opening mail that ain't hers. That's a federal crime. Brenda doubles down, claims authority to inspect mail for security. Even her own board stares at her, slack-jawed. But the final nail comes from Sarah Martinez, CPA, who's tracked the money through shell companies, exposing RICO-level conspiracy across multiple communities. As neighbors revolt, I realize this isn't just about us anymore. It's about every family systematically robbed. Brenda's not done. She launches a digital smear campaign, files bogus complaints to freeze my contracts, vandalizes my campaign signs, and has her cronies tail us to school. The intimidation only creates more evidence. Then Skylar's teacher calls. Brenda tried to access her school records, threatening the principal with lost landscaping contracts when refused. That's a felony. I start gathering my own army. Marcus, Gladys, Sarah. We dig deeper, connect the dots. Millions stolen across 6 communities, bribes to councilmen, systematic targeting of military families, elderly, single parents. Ruth's last letter is a roadmap. Democracy only works when citizens participate. The county sheriff's retiring. Deadline to file is 13 days away. Suddenly, I know what I have to do. We turn Ruth's workshop into campaign HQ. Maps, laptops, coffee, the smell of possibility. Marcus brings in veterans. Gladys taps her network. Sarah cracks the financials. Media catch on. Rebecca Torres, an investigative journalist, runs with our story. Honest deputies, frustrated by corruption, join us. It's bigger than Willowbrook now. Election day approaches. Brenda and Bradley escalate, attacking from every angle. But their desperation backfires. Marcus catches their employees destroying signs. Sarah finds evidence of election interference. Skylar's teacher documents Brenda's illegal demands. Each move strengthens our case. Every threat, every false report, another brick in the wall that's closing in. Then comes Brenda's piece de resistance. She stages a confrontation, live streams it to her secret Facebook group, trying to frame me as a violent threat. But my cameras catch everything, and her own stream betrays her, broadcasting her setup, her coached witnesses to 847 neighbors who finally see the truth. Deputy Jake Morrison arrives, not to arrest me, but to cuff Brenda for filing false police reports, conspiracy, and interfering with federal investigations. Justice finally on camera. The feds swoop in, simultaneous raids, evidence everywhere. Brenda destroyed documents. Bradley laundered nearly $1 million. Phones full of recorded confessions. Brenda's live stream, meant to ruin me, instead dooms her. Election night. Willowbrook Square is packed. Media everywhere. Families crying tears of relief. 82% of the vote. Reform sweeps every office. As I stand at the mic, Skylar at my side, federal prosecutors reveal the truth. The Thornfields systematically targeted vulnerable families, weaponizing fear and stealing millions. Arrests happen live. Brenda paraded out in an orange jumpsuit, confessing at the courthouse steps. And Skylar, God bless her, steps up. Bad people only win when good people stay quiet. That's the lesson, my lesson. We proved it's not about how powerful the corrupt are, but how stubborn the honest can be. 6 months later, Willowbrook's changed. Fees cut in half, playgrounds rebuilt, neighbors talking again, and Skylar running democracy detectives at her school. Ruth's roses bloom brighter than ever. Across the country, other communities follow our lead. Federal reforms, transparency, real accountability. Turns out, one ordinary family can take down an empire if you've got the nerve and a little help from your neighbors. So what's your take? Is true justice ever really possible in a world where power can be bought? Or does it always take a fight? Drop your craziest HOA nightmare in the comments, because believe me, every story matters. And stick around. Next time, I'll tell you how a power-drunk PTA president tried to swipe the school carnival funds, and the kindergarten teacher who brought her down with receipts that'll make you stand up and cheer.